We are going to go ahead and get started today's workshop. This is brought to you by the Champaign Public Library. My name is Madeline Wolski. I'm our business librarian here, and this is ARTrepreneurship, Holiday Markets. We are so excited to be offering this program today in collaboration with our esteemed guests, and just a quick few housekeeping tips before we get ahead and get started. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them, and you can do that in 3 ways. First one is you're more than welcome to type in the chat box. I just want you to be aware of who you're sending the chat to, so you're more than welcome to send it to everyone, but if you just like us, the panelists, to see it, please go ahead and select hosts and panelists. On that note, if you're having any tech issues, please feel free also to just let us know, and I have 2 amazing volunteers, Leigh and Virginia, who will be helping you out with that today. You can also ask a question within the Q&A, and that is on the lower part of your screen. You can just select that, type it in, and we will get to it during the presentation today. And lastly, if you prefer to verbalize your question, go ahead and select raise hand. I will eventually unmute you, and then you'll be able to ask your question or comment to our amazing presenters today. Lastly, this webinar is being recorded and it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel by the beginning of next week. I'll also send probably an email with any resources mentioned during this workshop today. If you've registered, you will be getting the link. Lastly, thank you all for coming. I know sometimes it's hard to fit in time right at noon, but it's worth it. All right, so without any further ado, I'm gonna let our amazing panelists go ahead and introduce themselves, and we're gonna be going in alphabetical order today. So Mark David, if you wouldn't mind starting us off.
Happy to. I'm Mark David. I'm a nature and wildlife photographer. I've been doing that pretty much my whole life, but basically I had a career that made money for me so I could survive that. I retired in 2014 after 43 years of service as a critical care nutritional support pharmacist at a local hospital. And it was very enjoyable, but getting out and taking pictures is a good way to, I don't know, just get rid of the pressure of the job. I volunteer a lot now. I volunteer for the Champaign County Forest Preserve, doing educational stuff. I used to volunteer for the Friends of the Champaign Public Library, and I give that a big post, but that was a lot of fun when I did that. I stopped doing that around the pandemic started going on. Advisor to the Champaign County United Way since 2015. The big thing is probably why I'm here is that I'm a member of the Champaign-Urbana Craft League, which is a volunteer organization, since 2012. And we have an annual show, and I've been participating in that since 2012. In 2021, I was elected president of the Craft League, which is a different hat and a lot of and fun for me. I really enjoy that. Done a lot of things. I'm also another local organization, the Allerton Photo Group. Give that big plug because I've been doing that since 2016. It's a good way to meet other photographers. It's a good way to get out in nature, and it's a lot of fun how to improve upon your skills. And then basically this other organizations did some volunteering for Artists for AIDS with some pictures and stuff like that, and put some pics in a local restaurant for a while. And some of my pictures are on display at the Carl Foundation Hospital. So I've been busy since I retired, but this is my passion. Outdoor photography and animals is basically my passion.
Thank you so much, Mark. Anna, if you would like to go ahead and introduce yourself.
My pleasure. Hi, everyone. My name is Anna Gutsch. I am a color designer and industrial designer. I originally come from the north of Germany, but I'm here in Illinois, in the United States, since 2009. I co-own a commercial design studio together with my husband here in Urbana, Illinois. It's called Northern German Design Studio. We together have a really lovely home goods brand. It's called Northern at Home. And I have a birch jewelry business called Pipapo. Through the last few years, almost 10 years, we have coined the pop-up movement here in Champaign-Urbana, helping to foster a larger creative community that we enjoy so much. We have about 5 years of experience curating and organizing local markets. And some of the events you might have heard about is the Little Red Hut, BAM, Boneyard Arts Market. Now a new event, Altogether Now See You, and of course the Mistletoe Market that we're going to hear about later.
Yeah. Thank you, Anna. And Jordan, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jordan Zeck. I'm the retreat center manager out at Allerton Park and Retreat Center. So we're located in Monticello, Illinois, just a short drive away. Our big upcoming holiday market is our annual holiday showcase. So we have local artists, vendors in the mansion here that we open up to the public. So it's a 3-day event. So I'm excited to talk about, our applications close this weekend. So kind of perfect timing for this if anyone's still interested in applying. But we will dive into, how we look over those applications. And then outside of our annual holiday market, we do have other vendor opportunities as well, like at our concert series, just other smaller art market events as well throughout the year.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So we decided to kind of break down the workshop today by going through the whole process of what is it like applying for markets. So here's our first question. And what is the best way to hear about markets, especially if maybe you're new to the area, not sure where to start? Anna, would you like to start us off?
Well, if you're new to the area, I think then you have to take a walk around. Just look at different boards, walk around, go into shops that you see and simply connect with people. At least that's how I would do it. If you're new to the area, you can always follow the hashtag Champaign-Urbana, but I'm not sure if everyone follows that. So yeah, we've had a few people come into our shop over the years and saying hi for that we're new artists and designers. So that's one. But of course, we also have a 40 North, which is the local arts council. It's always a good resource to connect there. Yeah, but with us, you can always connect to a Northern German Design Studio, Northern at Home, or any of the markets that we do. Yeah, we're happy to always chat and engage.
Great. Jordan or Mark, do you have any places where you post about your events?
For me, the big thing was to be visible and go out to find out other shows going on and going to them and introducing yourself and get some, how'd you hear about this show and all that type of stuff. But be visible, be out. I think that's the most important thing. Just don't think that stuff's going to come to you. You have to be aggressive from that standpoint.
Yeah, for us in particular, where we market most of our events is social media. We still have a very large Facebook presence. So that is where we do the majority of our promotions.
Fantastic. Anna and Mark, I really like what you both said about going out there, finding out about the events itself by maybe being a little bit visible and aggressive. I think that especially with the Urbana Farmers Market that happens every Saturday, and Anna, I know you're there quite often. What if someone just came up to your stand and just asked hey, I'm interested in maybe also being a creator. How do I get involved? Would you think that would be something we could encourage people to do?
Please come by and say hi. Also by my shop, 206 West Main Street, downtown Urbana. We're open every Saturday. I love that. I've met so many people. Also my husband, Johan, who usually is at the market on Saturday because I'm at the shop. But we have met so many friends this way. It's so nice to connect over creativity, over art. And there's so many different touch points. Definitely go out and make those meaningful connections. You might come with the idea to just introduce yourself, but we might have a market that you can apply to, or several. And I think, making a personal connection is always the best for me.
Fantastic. Thank you. So once we hear about these markets, what are some things that we should be aware of before we apply? And I'm going to start off with Jordan this time.
Sure. So some of the things, and again, I'm specifically thinking about our holiday showcase. Being aware of any deadlines that are in place. Usually we do have, a deadline for the application. Being aware on that application, like ours is a 3-day event. So we try to make it very upfront that the expectation is you're going to be there all 3 days. So we have some people apply and then, oh, I can only do 1 day. So, making sure you read all that fine print within the application. So you know the expectations going into it. And I also encourage people, call and ask questions. I would definitely rather answer those questions if you're hesitant about something or what to expect. I even have people say, can I come see the space before I apply? Absolutely. I'm more than welcome to have you out, kind of walk you through that. So yeah, don't be hesitant to reach out, just so you know everything going into that application.
Fantastic, thank you. Mark or Anna, would you both like to add anything?
Let me go ahead, Anna. Okay. Well, for me, from a photography standpoint, I need to know the location. I need to know if it's completely outside, completely inside. I need to bring a tent to do my wares and stuff. And sometimes, certain times of the year, I might not want to do something outside during the spring when more spring storms might come. So I might go for something that's more inside. I've done some shows where it's inside and outside, and I paid the extra money to be inside because I just don't want my prints to be damaged anyway by the moisture and stuff like that. Again, you don't know what the hours are. No, I think the biggest thing though is the clientele. What kind of people are going to be coming there? You're going to get people that are basically, say you're going to be you're looking to apply to be a vendor at a wine venue. Okay, it's like Oktoberfest, and they're having a big thing. Well, how many of those people are going to be coming there are really going to be interested in buying art? So you need to know the clientele, the type of market of it from that standpoint. The other thing for me is if it's multiple days, is the stuff going to be secure when I leave at night? So it's open, say, from 10 to 5. So at 5:30, will anybody be able to get in and from that standpoint? So security is probably an important thing. I mean, there's other sort of things like, the entry fee, the size of the booth, most times they're 10 by 10. What else is applied, needed for us to the craft league. You have to have 5 images and an image of your booth. So we want to look for quality images. It's a juried venue. So again, when you apply for it, is your venue going to be juried? And so those are some things that come off the top of my mind, but those are the things you need to think about.
Thank you so much. Anna?
Yeah, I would add to that a few little things. I create market, organize markets, but I also apply to markets. So what I like to do is take a cup of coffee, sit down with 15 minutes of time, really read through what do they want, what are they having emphasis on, when is this event, am I actually free in my calendar, or I'm going to do this and then later not coming. But I think one of the biggest things is photos, that those photos really represent what you're doing, that they're clean, and that there are no distractions in the photo. I'm saying this especially for people that are starting out. Make sure those photos are clean. And best depict what you are offering. And then I would also say, as to going on to social media, we have social media handles of our business. Like for my business, it's called Pipapo, my business Pipapo. My handle is my Pipapo. And it's the same throughout all my social media platforms. So what I'm looking to do is I want to be findable. So when people that I apply to markets to, I want them to be able to grab my hashtag and tag my product so that you all can find me later on. And some artists aren't ready in that regard. They might have different handles and different website names. So a little tip would be that you streamline your name to be all the same through all your platforms, because the customers want to find you and you want to make it really easy for them. So that findability and photo quality are something that we're definitely looking out for.
Yeah, thank you. I really like kind of what you all had talked about regarding, especially Mark, the clientele, doing some research, who's going to be going to that market specifically. And is that information you typically have within the markets that you all host, just like kind of recommendations on like, hey, this is the price point that's pretty average. This is what we've had previously here. Is that something people can find?
Specifically for us, I mean, we definitely keep track of how many people come through. I know that's a question I get a lot from vendors, is like, how many people can I expect, you know, to be at this market? So we do have that previous information. I like that you bring up the price point thing, because that is interesting, and something that we look for in applications is kind of a variety of price points. We've accepted some amazing vendors before that are fairly high end, but didn't have as great of an experience because they were so high end. So sometimes I am upfront about that. You know, we love your product, but just so you know, this might not be the price point that our audience is looking for. So I definitely, and we send out surveys too. So we do have answers to most of those questions about what we do.
Mm-hmm.
I would add to, we also have FAQ on our website, especially for mistletoe market, and we recommend for people always to have a range, because you never know who you're meeting, you never know what people are looking for, and you're creating, if you're one person who creates unique artwork, someone might not have that in their virtual budget, but you know, they might see it and they're like buying it. So I'm not so much sure that it's necessarily the number of people who walk through, even though it's a great indicator, but does the value set of the audience match what you do? I think that's really key for us. Are they coming for unique goods and gifts? Are they coming for crafted, one of a kind? Are they coming for high-end art? Are they coming for food? Are they coming for wine? I think some of those things, or craft, some of those things I think are really important to keep in mind when you are applying to the market.
Yeah, just to add to that, we keep a record of how many people, with like a little counter. We have a volunteer that counts people. I don't know how accurate it is, but we know what our number is, and that's for two things. One is for insurance. So we have to pay depending upon how many people are going to be attending that stuff. So you know, the higher number of people, maybe have to pay a little bit more in your insurance standpoint. The other thing is we use that to advertise to people. So we'll say, okay, we had 2,500 people come through our 2-day show. That will basically get the eye of some artists. Some artists say, well, okay, if you only had, say, 400 people coming through, then there's some people say, well, I'm not going to go to this show. This is not really well attended. So I think from your standpoint, if you can find out, you know, how popular it is, or usually they'll tell you that, those things that help you out.
Yeah. And so if an artist, if they had a good idea of what their brand is, who they're serving, or who has purchased their items before, would it be okay if they contacted you and just asked like, hey, this is kind of my client. Do you think this is a good fit? Is it worth for me applying for this market? Or do you encourage them just to go do it?
A combination of both. I mean, if somebody wants to contact and ask us about what's going on, the Craft League likes original art. Okay, so it's, you know, handcraft artists, that standpoint. So we would basically want to see their images, and we want to see what other shows they have done. So if you haven't done a show before, then you need to do something to really emphasize the quality of your work, or where else it might be displayed, you know, that type of thing. If you had multiple shows and if the shows are juried, those important things to let the people you're applying for, you know, that. So that means that people are looking at high quality art from that standpoint. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Anna, did you want to add anything onto there?
I didn't hear what Mark said, so I think there was a technical difficulty. But I would say ultimately you have to decide for yourself if you want to do that. You can always reach out to us, always, and ask. But in the end, this is your own responsibility.
Thanks. And I have one more question that came into my mind, especially Anna, when you were talking about social media handles. If someone is completely new to the scene and they make that high quality work, but what if they don't have any social media or they're not at a place where they have a website yet? Do you think they should wait to apply until they've established themselves a little bit more, or do you say go for it?
Yeah, what are you waiting for? No, go for it. Definitely go for it. But let the people know that you're applying to, that organize the market, that you have social media on your website. They might say this is a great moment to start, because if you have some things that you're selling, you might want people to be able to contact you. It is not just about business growth, it's also about credibility. What if something breaks? You want to be able to repair it, or if they want more, you want to be able to be there, you want to be able to build those connections. So the best time to start anything is now. Don't wait.
Great. Mark, do you have anything to add?
Oh, no, I think Anna covered it pretty well. No problem.
Fantastic. And Jordan?
No, I agree. I definitely have applicants that do apply that don't have websites yet, and that's perfectly fine. Like, I totally get it. We do ask then, like Mark was mentioning earlier, submit some images maybe, just so we have something to go off of, because if we have nothing, that's a little bit more difficult. But yeah, I wouldn't be shy about applying for sure.
Thank you all so much. Okay, so I think we did a pretty good job of covering like this before the application. So if someone has decided my customers match up with the clientele at this market, we had touched a little bit on what information you want to see from makers, but let's focus on the photography element that I think everyone really touched on here. Especially if someone, maybe they have pictures of their products, what other pictures are you really looking for? And then let's start with Jordan.
Mark actually mentioned it earlier, but if you have an image of a booth that you've set up previously, that does matter to us as a venue. Is it kind of clean looking, well thought out, organized, or is it a table with no tablecloth and just some product, So yeah, the overall display, if you have that, is definitely great, outside of just the product images.
Thank you. And I think some people might feel, oh, sorry, go ahead, Anna.
Yeah, I would love to add to that, because all the markets that we do, people make their own products. They don't order pieces and just assemble them. Like, we have the designers, the artists, the makers, the crafters. We would love a picture of yourself while you either work or while you dress up and show your earrings or something. We would love that, because we're asking for what you do. We ask for your business, and when we advertise for your product, we would love to show who you are, and because it makes the whole your whole work just so much rounder. It makes it so much more meaningful and so much more personal. And our community here in Champaign-Urbana wants to support creative businesses, small businesses. And so I think for me, it would be really great if you could add a picture of yourself also. Yeah, that's obviously not going to be curated or something, but it should be very nice, clean, either, as I said, you at work or just smiling, because we'd love to add that. Mm-hmm.
The sidelight on that is on images. We've had several people in the years send images that they just took it on their phone, okay? And there's reflections from a mirror or sunlight or something on the image, or it's a picture in glass, so it's a photo in glass. So they didn't even send the raw image with it. They took a copy of a picture hanging on a frame. And for us, when we do the jury, those are kind of negative things. If you need to have really good quality image, not something you're just taking a phone and taking a picture and then you download it and you send it. So you really need, because we think you need to think about what you're doing from that standpoint. So from us, the quality of the image is really sometimes make it or break it. And then the other thing is basically whatever shows that you've done. If you haven't done anything, then you can just, expand upon yourself and your experience and stuff like that. But again, the image is probably, it's your only chance. If you're doing a jury or any show, your image is the only thing that people are going to see of you. So you got to make sure that that is really good quality.
Yeah, thank you all so much. We did have a question that came in. Is putting products up on Etsy before applying, is that a good idea or just to include product pictures? So I'm wondering if maybe they're asking, and feel free to clarify me, but if they just send like an Etsy link or the pictures that they showcase on their Etsy. And I think you kind of answered the question, but Larissa, let me know if you want us to clarify anything. But yeah, what are your thoughts on people just including like Etsy links or places to buy online?
For me, that is not proper because I'm asking for picture files, because I would like to share those picture files then on our social media. So this is not about just looking at a picture and saying, oh yeah, this is a fit or this is not a fit. This is also about, you know, me then taking those pictures and advertising with them. And something that I don't want to necessarily spend too much time on is going on an Etsy shop and taking a screenshot or downloading a picture and then saving that and naming it right, and then at one point uploading it. So there's a whole lot of other tasks behind the request of having pictures being sent. And I would say if people asking, market organizers ask to submit pictures, then please do that.
Yeah,
I'll take any and all, actually. So whatever applicants send me, I'm gonna check out. So I have some people that, you know, have let me know, oh, I don't have a website, or I don't have, you know, an Etsy shop. Some people have it all. If they submit Etsy, Facebook, website, I will look at all of it. And then that does also help me outside of just having the images. With that price point that we talked earlier, it lets me know that what their range is, you know, of the prices of the products that they're offering. So I totally agree with Anna though, that it is a little frustrating when you do like a client. So like the Etsy page may sell me, but then yeah, sometimes we have to follow up because yeah, I don't want to screenshot and download the images. So I'd go back to that vendor and say, can you provide those for marketing purposes? So yeah, I guess I would want both.
yeah. Mark, did you have anything to add?
Well, the only thing else I have to add is that the image you send in to be a artist is we use those images for promotion. And so you want to make sure you send good quality images you get into the show. So we put it on our web page, we put it on our Facebook, and we do certain things to try to advertise what's going on from that standpoint. And we'll select a couple images to put we send out postcards to our repeat customers. So we have like a sign-in that people can put down to be contacted, and we send out like almost 2,500 postcards every year for our annual show. And so we'll pick 2 or 3 images of people from that standpoint. So if you want your image to be picked, want your image to look crisp on a Facebook page or a web page or in the newspaper, wherever it is, that's really important.
Thank you. And this also makes me think of, would they get maybe brownie points if they named the image in something that's easy to kind of like, oh, so if I had my jewelry company, I'd name my image Mew Earrings 1 instead of like 6789433B7.
Yeah, you're right. We'll definitely.
We require them to name the image, and if it's say a photography picture or the location, and if it's a jewelry thing, kind of a little bit more about it in the image. But it's very small detail, so it gives it more just we don't like numbers. We don't like numbers.
Can relate. Thank you. And we had another question. So for individuals who they're graphic designers and they produce stickers or books, would you prefer to see a image of the design itself or of the finished product and have it photographed? Make sense?
Finished product for me.
Pardon?
That's what we.
Oh, finished product.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I think unanimous finished product. Very cool. And then we'll probably get to this next question a little bit later. But Dan, just letting you know that I have seen it. So here's one thing. What do you wish applicants knew before applying? If you could whisper one thing in their ear, besides following all of the instructions and submitting high quality photos.
I guess the first thing that came to my mind was to like keep going, and specifically because we actually, you think of our venue as like a mansion, it's big, but we only can hold like 25 vendors. So it's actually kind of a smaller market. And so we do have to decline quite a few. And so I've heard it all. Some people are just starting out and they reach out and they, do you think I'm good enough for this? Or others that, didn't make it because I had, 15 photographers apply, and that would be more than half of the show is just photographers. And so we do have to decline some, but I don't know. So I always just feel bad. And I'm like, but like, don't give up, like keep going, keep applying, like keep getting out there and meeting people. And yeah.
Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah, if I could say something to that, we also have been in a situation naturally to say, oh, sorry, this time we can't have you. But I also have been declined with my business numerous times. And I'm not giving up either. I just think that it's important to believe in what you do and finding your audience. When we create markets, we are finding an audience, and every vendor, whether they're starting out or already are very experienced, decides if this is their audience or if they want to maybe branch out into a new audience. You're just, I would say, never, as was said before, Jordan said, never give up, but also, we are not the ones who determine the success of your business. We just offer one opportunity for you that I think I'm inviting you to definitely apply to and take part in, because there could always be something to gain. But this is not the end of the world. So show yourself in the best possible way. In your pictures with your business first, and then number, and then title. Because every single time I'm reading that name of your business or name of your artist name, that's going to get into my gray cells. And the more times I'm reading it, someone on the street says, oh, have you heard about XYZ? I'm like, oh yeah, totally. But if I am not presented with your brand by you, basically, I can't learn it and I can't internalize it. And so what I want you to know when you fill out an application is that this is for you an opportunity to introduce yourself. And you want to do that in the best and most broad, I guess, way as possible. And just do that. Do it for that and then see what happens. That's what I'd say.
Thanks, Anna. Mark, do you want to add to that?
I think I can really add is just that double check your calendar and you're applying for something. And we've had this happen a couple of times where people say, oh my gosh, my, something's come up, or whatever it happens to be. That just, look ahead, because a lot of times for shows, you need to apply 3 or 4 months ahead of time. There's a, they tell you acceptance date and all that type of stuff. So just make sure that you are committed to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. And so I guess since we talked about this earlier, we'll just keep on the conversation. But if you are declined from a market after double checking the application, is it okay for the maker to contact you and start the conversation on like, is there something I could do better? Or is that just something that you don't provide feedback? Because I think that's also pretty.
I would start and go ahead with that, because we've had that many times, and it would tie in with what I just said. I'm not to tell you what you love to do. I'm not to tell you you're not good enough. I'm just saying, for this market that we're creating, for the feeling and the vibe and the clientele that we have at that market, we think we cannot provide you with sales. We want you to be successful. We don't want you to come and say, oh, this was a shitty market. That's not what we want. So you know, you applied and we thought we might not be able to provide you with a successful experience. That's what this is about. This is not about, oh, you're not valid as an artist. Oh, no, you know, that's not at all what we're saying. So if you reach out, you may or may not get an answer from us, because we don't want to, we have actually had to get into discussions where people got really angry at us, and we don't really want to engage in that on that layer, because, you know, we're offering a partnership, and if we can't be that partner with that person, we're really sorry. But so I think try again, or look for a conversation, but you may not get a response. That's just what it is, depending on what you ask, you know, also.
Yeah, I like how she says it, depending on how you ask and what you ask, because I think it's acceptable to ask, but as long as you're doing so in like a polite, professional way, truly to gain feedback. Because again, I've had to decline great artists, you know, and just certain circumstances, that's how it ended up. So yeah, again, it's not that we don't like the business, like the product, or don't want you to be successful. But I too have had some of those conversations go negative very quickly. And so that is just not going to, you know, that's not what we want to have. That doesn't go well for future either, like applying later. It's like we remember those interactions. But so as long as it's done so in an appropriate manner, I think it's fine.
Thank you.
Sometimes we will give suggestions to somebody, but we can't. I mean, we have, I don't know how many people we apply, but we have maybe 12 to 15 people that we will turn down every year. But basically the thing is that don't put it on social media that you got turned down by this particular show, and how they just don't recognize good art or something like that nature, because you have basically burned a bridge. And so, I mean, don't take it as a personal thing. Take it as that people jury, because a lot of times what we try to do is, like everybody else, you're trying to make sure you have a good representative of all different types of medium. And so if you can't have, you know, 12 or 15 juries, or another 12 or 15 guys who do pottery or something like that, that's going to overflow, and a lot of people won't go, because that's basically what it is. If you want something, there's certain places I know in Champaign that does quilts, and so there's a quilt league or something like that, and they have a particular show at a church, and everybody, you know, shows their stuff. So that's, you know, that's a different type of focus. But again, don't take it personal. If you want some suggestions, sometimes you'll get an answer, sometimes you don't. I've been turned down several times, and so I just take it and say, okay, fine, it's no big deal, move on.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think at one of our other entrepreneurship workshops, Lisa Kessler, an amazing local artist, she had once said that it's like, if you're in art, you need to get used to being turned away.
Right.
Yes. Well, fantastic. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. So here's a question specifically about all of your fairs. What are the price points that you typically have? On average, I guess you'd say, like the range.
Are they asking like the booth price point that we charge, or the price point we're looking for in vendors?
I'm assuming price point for vendors. Yes, I'm assuming price point for vendors.
Got it.
We don't tell the vendor what price to charge. I've been since 2012, and nobody's come back and said your prices are too low or your prices are too high. You'll find out your prices are too high, but basically people are saying I can't afford to pay for this, that type of thing. But no, we don't do that. I think the clientele will kind of help you judge your price point, because you want to make sure you're in that range, and if you're in the type of venue you're doing.
Thank you. Anna, did you want to add anything?
Sure. I mean, it depends on what kind of product they have. I mean, my response would be, it depends on what product you have. If you are someone who makes soap from scratch, then I think your product should be anywhere from, you know, for a bar of soap, from $5 to maybe $9. That's what I'm thinking bang off the bat. You know, if you're making one of the kind wooden chandeliers, you know, we're talking completely different different categories. So I would need to know what is it that this person's doing. But there's always people for, you know, have a range of prices. That's what I'd say.
Yeah. Again, I feel like it's taking those tips from before the application, get into the community, see what other people are doing, what they're selling, how your product fits into the current market. Yeah. Sorry, business librarian here. All right, well, let's go on to the next section. And again, I encourage everyone, if you do have a question, feel free to put it in the chat or feel free to do a Q&A. And if I don't ask it correctly, feel free to send me a message. Okay, so after you're accepted, I think this is kind of something that a lot of makers just kind of gloss over a little bit. But once they say, oh, hey, you've been in, we would love to have you in the market. What would kind of help them succeed, especially in the days leading up to the market? Anna?
Yeah, I think there's always this big relief, like, okay, we're accepted, and then 1 week before or 2 weeks before, I'm gonna start to advertise that I'm gonna be there. I think that's a huge missed opportunity, because I think as soon as you are accepted, that's when the work starts, okay? So that's when you can say, hey, I know it's further out, but I'm going to be there, and I'm going to show you my process for this product, and this piece of artwork that I'm doing, and you can actually have it at that market. So it's a great, great, great time that you can advertise. And if you do that on your own channels, it provides us with an incredible opportunity to actually grab something from your social media, to tag you, and to share on our event channels. Another huge opportunity is to, if there's a Facebook event, go into that discussion tab, introduce yourself, introduce your work. Don't just do it once in the beginning, just do it several times, invite your friends, share in your newsletter that you're going to be at that event. I mean, yes, we are paid to do marketing, and we will market you, but you are your biggest advocate too. So whatever you want to do it big, and you're going to be the star at that show, because you just, you know, whatever you share with us, we can go and share that. So let's make some waves, what I've got to say.
Thank you, Anna.
Yeah.
Mark or Jordan?
I think what Anna said makes sense. And the sooner you let your clientele, and hopefully, you know, if you first start out, your clientele is going to be friends or relatives or co-workers and stuff like that. But spread it out, you know, put it somewhere where other people can see it. So the sooner you do it, the better off you are.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think it's not unusual for, or I guess it's pretty usual for market organizers to send makers with like a marketing packet. Is that something that you all do? Just kind of like links to social media things, any images, hashtags?
Absolutely. That's something that we provide. But then again, that's all on our page. Or, you know, what I would also want to emphasize more is them saying, I'm going to have XYZ at, you know, picture of this event, like the marketing stuff that we brought, because that's going to draw people to the event, and it builds their brand. It builds meaning to their goods. And so, yes, we totally give a marketing package so people know, you know, where to go. But then again, there's this whole other opportunity for the maker and artist.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I like to have that conversation with some of them to, you know, what would be best for them. Like, we can provide, you know, handouts if they're going to be at other markets to like promote other upcoming markets they're going to be at. Social media, definitely, you know, doing vendor highlights. Someone said it earlier about, you know, yeah, share on your personal page, and we're more likely to share that on ours as well, you know, so that's all great.
Yeah, thank you. And this kind of makes me think of, again, earlier when we were talking photos and having that picture of you maybe behind your booth, so you can kind of provide the jury, or the ones who are setting up that market, with kind of a good idea of what your personality is, how you engage with others. Would you say that there is a certain market etiquette that people should be working towards or practicing at home when they do get accepted? Got a lot of heads.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the way, yeah, you present yourself at your booth, as far as like where you're sitting, how you interact with guests. Do you interact with guests like as they walk by? The whole customer service side in general, you know, so you're interacting with us as like the venue, but we also pay attention with, you know, how you interact with your customers as well. All of that. So yes, I mentioned it earlier as far as, you know, just preparing your booth itself, making sure that it looks professional, put together, clean, properly bringing the right amount of inventory. We've had people, which this is a good problem to have, I guess, but you know, like night one, they're like, I'm out of product. I have to go home, like do something. And that's where I'm open to having those conversations of, you know, yeah, do you need to know how many people typically come through? Do you need to come see the space to appropriately design that booth? Things like that. Yeah.
I would say that one of the things, I guess it's probably my personal way I do it, is to be friendly, but also be relaxed. Don't try to be like a car dealer, that you're out in a car dealer show, you know, parking lot, and you also you come out and all that type of stuff. So you want to be able, you can sometimes after years of doing this, and maybe the other thing at end it, you kind of know by the person's body language if they want to be interrupted or not. And so sometimes you just kind of sit back and let them be their own, look through your stuff. And if they have questions, a lot of times I'll come up and just say, if you have any questions, just let me know. You know. So you don't want to be too pushy. You want to be visible. You want to be friendly. Before COVID, a lot of people, that sometimes people in our craft league would have like little mints or something to give to people, the way to get them into the booth and they talk. You know, there's books, numerous number of books written on this type of stuff. But all I can say is be yourself. Don't be pushy, and it'll work out.
Thank you. Anna, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Oh yeah. So first, from your setup, I would say if it's an outdoor event, make sure you have a tent that is structurally sound, it's not falling apart, it's not dirty. It's the house of your product, and you want that to be reliable, beautiful, and structurally sound. If it looks like it's falling down, not good. Stay by your booth. You know, if you have to go to the restroom, sure, that's fine. You know, you want to get a drink of water, that's fine. You're constantly running throughout the market and you're not there, disrespectful. You're probably not going to be invited again. It's not good. If you are getting drunk, also not a great idea. If you're getting really loud, louder than, you know, everybody else, also not very polite. You can greet the people that are coming to your booth. You don't have to, but I think overall, depending on what you're comfortable with, on how you are selling your goods, be authentic. If you like to talk about your artwork, do that. I don't think that personally, you know, I don't feel that's pushy. I feel like that's excited. Of course, if you're coming across desperate, that might not be the best. I hope you're not desperate whenever you're at our market, but just be yourself. Be yourself, share what you're excited about, share, you know, what's great about your products, but make sure you're there, you're ready, you're friendly, and you're engaged about what it is that you do, because you pay to be there. You pay for that opportunity to talk to all these people. So it's not, you know, you're sitting in your chair, maybe leaning back and watching a movie. You're, you know, if you choose that's you, okay. My suggestion would be there, be present, and share what you have.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I really liked what Jordan said, which is something I think that a lot of makers tend to forget, but that we pay attention. I mean, the application process may have been done, but linking into Anna's conversation too on making sure you're presenting yourself in a way where you will be invited back to future markets. I think that's so important. So important.
Yeah.
The one thing I would add is be prepared to negotiate on price. When I first started doing this, oh, I don't know, 6, 8 years ago, maybe longer by now, somebody said, okay, I'll give you, 20% off or something like that, So be prepared for that and stay consistent. Okay, if you're not going to negotiate, don't negotiate. If you negotiate for this person, the next person is going to hear, hey, this guy's cutting everything off by 20, 30, 40%. Give him a price, he'll sell it. Somebody else will come up and do that. So be prepared. How are you going to handle that, and I guess be consistent on it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Anna?
I just want to add to that. That's a good point, because that can catch you quite off guard if someone says, oh yeah, you know what, can I have 2 pairs for 1, like earrings, or something like that. Know your worth. Know your worth. Know, you're doing that work. And if I want to go buy a BMW or whatever, I'm also not going to be like, hey, I have 2 for 1. So that's also market etiquette, the other way around. So be prepared and respond kind and do what you're comfortable with. But yeah, as Mark said, stay consistent and think about this beforehand. Think about what you're worth and what your goods are worth.
Yeah. Thank you all so much. So let's take the last 10 minutes of this amazing workshop to talk about kind of resources for local artists. So first off, can we recommend any Facebook pages or meetups or groups that will give more information on upcoming shows in Central Illinois that you can recommend? Has a yes.
I think for me, Champaign Moms helps a lot. You can look at that in the Facebook, and there's a lot of events and stuff like that you can do. The Champaign County Visitors Bureau has also a list of things that's going on from that standpoint. I know for photography that the Illinois Artists has a site you can go into. It's a website, and they'll tell you what's going on around the state and stuff like that. So that's another way to do that. And there's another free site called Zap. I don't know if Anna uses Zap or not, but Zap is something where you join, and then they'll send you weekly announcements of art shows all over the United States. So you can be in Florida, Texas, wherever it is, and it's more for a national type of presence, but it gives you ideas of what's going on from that standpoint.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think also at our last Artrepreneurship, Kelly White had actually shared a list with me, and I will be adding that onto the email of other places where you can find juried art exhibits, maker fests, and also local festivals that come around. Great.
Yeah, I would also like to definitely follow Norden German Design Studio on Facebook, maybe also Instagram. We do a large variety of events. The Little Red Hat, BAM, Boneyard Arts Market, all together now CU, which is going to be happening 3 times next year. And then we have grown to 2 mistletoe markets in December. So that's a lot of events that we do throughout the year now. And we're excited, a great event. So if you want to know about them, you can of course follow all of these events individually, but who knows, we might be cooking up something new because we're super creative. So follow Norden German Design Studio. That's what I definitely say.
You can join our Facebook page, the Craft League of Champaign-Urbana. It's and to do more posting per se, you have to be a member and have to be approved, but there's a general site for public, and it usually tells things are going on from that standpoint. That's just from that standpoint. And if you want to meet with people and stuff like that, you can join something like the Craft League. We meet monthly, and people have gotten, when I first started doing this, people helped me with ideas of where to apply and that kind of stuff. And there's other venues, like if you're to do pottery, there's a local pottery group of guys that get together. If you're photography, there's a Champaign Camera Club. You can join that and meet other people doing in your field. So reach out. Don't just sit back and think people are going to come to you.
Fantastic. Yeah, and so we have another question. Oh, Jordan, did you want to add something?
No, I'm good. It was just really loud behind me, so I muted for a second.
Loud Allerton. All right, are you, so the next question is if we're going to talk about grants at all. So I guess on that, I would assume maybe they're talking about the Urbana Arts and Culture grants, which I believe since they're currently in process of, they're in a, what is it called? Transition. Thank you so much, Anna. The latest news I've read about that is that they are not going to be accepting the October grants, or those will not be open as of yet. But again, if you follow Urbana Arts and Culture, they have a Facebook page. And also on that note, do any of you provide grant opportunities or a sliding scale for applicants?
We don't. We've talked about it, but we don't. That's so I can say that.
Thank you. Anna,
I don't right now either.
No?
Yeah, we at BAM Boneyard Arts Market sponsored 3 students, actually 4. So they didn't pay for their space, and that was something that we did from Northern German Design Studio because we've been students once and we wanted to support others as well. That is not something that we have in the books for the Minnesota market, but I think that's something that for some of our markets we have lined out, and we're looking actually to find sponsors for our markets, especially All Together Now, where we can actually tap into that and be a resource for students and maybe other groups in the community that need more support, that can't afford maybe a $45 market fee, talking about All Together CU, that's about the range that we have there, and need more help to bring their product in front of people. So we're working on that, and we've done it in the past.
Okay, so and how much are the,
yeah, not a grant, but a free participation. Yeah.
that's awesome. How much, what is the price range for your booth costs?
So that's different from market to market. The holiday business is different. For Urbana and Champaign, we start at $65 to $95 and $250 for the largest size space available. If people want to apply for the Urbana market, Champagne's pretty much full. Go to www.mistletoemarketcu.com. And if you want to partake in All Together Now, which I believe right now the price point's around 45, check it out. All Together Now CU, that's at the end of October. So that's for artists, makers, designers, crafters, and everyone in between. It's going to be a huge deal. We're looking to really be inclusive for the community, and our kickoff event is at the end of October.
Great.
So it's not a high fee, super low, I would say.
Right. And then Jordan, what's the Allerton price range?
For the holiday showcase itself, they range from 100 to 150. That's
3 days.
All 3 days, not per day, depending on the booth size and location.
And Mark?
Ours is a 2-day art show, and for non-members, it's $195. You get a little bit of a break if you're a member from that standpoint. So and that's what it is, $195 for 2 days.
Great. So I'm going to close this off with one more question. Is there a benefit to signing up early, or do you wait to look at the applications until the end of the sign-up period?
So both, actually. So I look at them as they come in, and I definitely will pull my favorites like as they come in, but I mean, it has to be fair, right? We wait till they close and then we like categorize everything. So even if someone applies late, it's not like they're less likely to get in, but I do look at them as they come in.
Thank you. Mark?
Ours is, it's juried. And so in theory, what happens is that I'm the gatekeeper. All this stuff comes through. I put it onto a Google Drive type of system, and I categorize them by their medium and stuff like that. And then when we're ready to, about a week before we do our jury, all the people in the jury can start looking at them, be familiar. Then we all meet, we rank them and go from there, and that's how we do it. So we don't really look too much ahead of time. The big thing is don't be late, because if the cutoff time is, say, September 30th and you're October 2nd, you could be out of luck.
Yeah.
So, and again, we try to be fair to everybody, so we don't allow a lot of excuses, you know, from that standpoint. Oh, I forgot, you know, or the dog ate my something or something. So we're pretty hard and fast.
Thank you. Anna?
Yeah, we have a couple of different approaches, I would say, and I will clarify this. For the holiday market, we started this year with the early bird application process, where people can secure their spot. It doesn't mean a different price or something, but we opened it up. We were upfront about it and said, you know, for 1 month you can apply right now. We curated it, and if you want to secure a spot for December, you know, we're going to look at that, and whoever wants to apply later, who trickles in with their application as word goes around, we'll see what spots we have. We need to fill our space as well. We rent a space in Champaign, so we do know what's going on. And so we did that, and the Champaign market is pretty much closed. And people can still apply for the Mistletoe market in Champaign. There are a few spots open, and that will go into our second part of the curation. So we have 1 month early bird, and then second month, and then it's closed, and then it's over. People can still apply for the Urbana market, which we have an equal amount of participants right now to the Champaign market, but in Urbana we have so much more space. So it's the original Mistletoe market. You have worked with that on us, you know. It's the original market. It's exciting. There are thousands of people going through. In the beginning of December, everybody's in the holiday mood. So if you see this, definitely apply to the Mistletoe market in Urbana. It's the original market. And so for the altogether, now that applications are still open to that, we have extended, because the word has been slow to get out since this is a new market too. So yeah, you can still apply. So we have already juried the first applications of people that came in and let them know, but we're still, you know, accepting applications to fill the space even more. We have the Lincoln Square Mall. We can really branch out there and make it a big party. So we hope more people will apply and make it happen.
Great. Well, I'm going to close this all out. Thank you all for coming and sharing your expertise, insight, and giving us a kind of a leg up on the competition regarding art markets in the Central Illinois area. A huge round of applause and thanks to Mark David, Anna Gutsch, and Jordan Zach. Thank you all so much. If anyone had any additional questions, looks like one came in and it was just a thank you. So that's fantastic. We'll take it. We will be sending out this recording over your email along with the resources mentioned today, more information about all the markets that are upcoming, places to find them, and also the how to contact any of these amazing organizers. Lastly, if you are interested in maybe increasing kind of your customer service, maybe learning more about consumer psychology, how to market more on social media, we have a lot of amazing resources at the library. Even if you don't have a library card, we can help set you up as well. My name is Madeline Wolski, and I'm the business librarian here, and we're just cheering you on. So have a wonderful rest of your day. And if you need anything else from us, feel free to send an email to librarian@champaign.org. So thank you again for taking the time to stay with us, and thank you, amazing presenters, for coming in, and a huge thanks to my tech volunteers. So on that note, have a wonderful rest of everyone's day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.